Hello friends, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Why don't you go down, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any episodes. For my fans and subscribers, welcome back. I really do appreciate you. Today we're going to be talking Greek mythology and the Trojan War. Not much else I need to say. Let's get on with the video. According to myth, the Trojan War started because Eris, goddess of discord, was offended at not being invited to a wedding. Unsurprisingly, nobody wanted to invite her because she stoked quarrels. But offending her was equally dangerous because she could make quarrels happen because she was offended. So she tossed a golden apple onto the wedding feast table, marked for the fairest. And of course, the goddesses started fighting over it because they all thought they were the fairest. One of these goddesses was Hera. So they petitioned Zeus to decide. Well, Zeus, who, if you remember, was married to Hera, wisely decided not to get involved in this particular discussion. And so he just let things fall out where they may. Instead, he suggested that they go to Prince Paris of Troy, whose eye for beauty was renowned. Ironically, Paris's father, Priam, had sent him away because of a prophecy that he would destroy Troy. Luckily, he wasn't like Cronus, but unlike Cronus, he did not heed prophecy. The boy thought nothing of danger when the goddesses appeared to him. All demanded that he judge who was the most beautiful, and backed these with bribes. Of course they did. Athena promised him dominion over the Greeks. Hera promised to make him master of Asia and Europe. On the other hand, Aphrodite promised him the most beautiful woman in the world. Because Paris loved women, he chose Aphrodite's bribe and chose to give her the golden apple. At that time, there was no doubt who the most beautiful woman was. Helen of Troy. Her mother was immortal, but Zeus was her father, while her mother's husband, King Tyndareus, might have welcomed someone to take his wife's illegitimate daughter off his hands. He feared to choose a suitor, lest he anger the rest and risk war. And Helen of Troy, because she was so beautiful, had plenty of suitors. Before choosing, he made all suitors swear that no revenge would be taken on him or Helen's husband. After all took the oath, he chose Menelaus, king of Sparta. Part of this oath also involved each man fighting for Helen's husband's marriage right. Although disappointed, the rejected suitors honored their oath. Menelaus was under a curse through no fault of his own, but because his father and great-grandfather's actions, he was under this curse. I will briefly go over the story here because it touches on this story. Tantalus was the grandfather of Menelaus and also happened to be a son of Zeus. Although he was mortal, the gods and goddesses invited him to all their feasts and showed him kindness. However, he returned their kindness with contempt. He invited them onto a feast. That's pretty polite, right? Well, he served meat that happened to be his own son whom he had killed. He wanted to reveal the gods as greedy and foolish. However, the gods were not foolish, and they knew what he had done. They raised the boy from the dead. As punishment, they sent Tantalus to the halls of Hades. There he sat by a pool of water that shrank from him every time he went near it. Near this pond were trees that grew lush fruit all year round. But he could not eat the fruit because the trees would make their branches go away from him when he wanted to pick the fruit. The gods did not pity him when he cried out in hunger and thirst. To this day, he serves as a warning against mocking the gods. His son Pelops lived virtuously, but Pelops' sons did not. His younger son, Thyestes, seduced his brother's wife. King Atreus, Thyestes' brother, killed his nieces and nephews as revenge, and their father unknowingly ate them. Thyestes cursed Atreus, which was inherited by Menelaus. Menelaus had been married to Helen for quite some time when Prince Paris gave the golden apple to Aphrodite. But Aphrodite had no regard for marriage vows, and she led the prince to Menelaus' court, where Menelaus welcomed him. Helen and Paris fell in love, and as these things go, they eloped when Menelaus was away. Of course, Helen blamed Aphrodite. Paris and Helen then set sail, not for the home of his exile, but to Troy. Now the rejected suitors were oath-bound to fight for Menelaus, and being the men of honor that they were, they did. Well, Menelaus' brother, king of Argos, fought for a different reason, to avenge the wrong done to his brother. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, saw no reason to abandon his own kingdom to bring back someone else's wife, so he stayed out of it. In order to avoid the war, he feigned insanity. The messenger sent to summon him found him plowing a field and planting it with salt, but he had his suspicions that the king was feigning insanity, so he came up with a test. He put the king's young son in front of the plow, and the king, being sane, turned it away from his son, and thus the messenger knew that he was sane and compelled him to join the Greek army. The omens seemed good. A prophet told them that the kings of Greece would destroy Troy along with the women and children as revenge against Paris' breach of hospitality. Hearing this, the kings rejoiced and waited for a favorable wind because they were actually sailing to Troy. They waited for weeks. Then it sent for the prophet and demanded an explanation, which he had. While they were waiting to set sail, they had seen 2 eagles eat a hare and her newborn. Artemis, protector of the wild and the young, was deeply offended. To appease her, she would let Agamemnon take part in the war only if he sacrificed his daughter. With revenge in his heart, the king of Argos agreed after a weak protest. He sent word to his wife, Queen Clytemnestra, that one of the greatest warriors of Greece, Achilles, wanted to marry their daughter, Iphigenia, before the war started. The queen sent her daughter with her attendants to meet up with the war party, dressed for her wedding. Iphigenia soon realized her father's true intent and pleaded with him and the other nobles not to do this, yet her father went ahead with his plan. Soon the winds were favorable to sail to Troy. The Greeks were ashamed of their deed, all the more determined to succeed because of the cost. A messenger brought news back to Clytemnestra. It was then that she started to plot her revenge. Well, friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. All social media links are in the description, and please check out my Teespring store, see if there's anything you want, and please consider being a patron. Also, please leave comments in the comment section. Not only do I love hearing from you, but it also triggers the YouTube algorithm. Keep learning and searching for truth. Here are a few videos from my library. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Until next time, friends, stay safe and goodbye.